Amigos y profesionales increíbles, are you ready to take the stage with confidence and charisma? Whether it's a board presentation, it can be a community gathering, even a virtual meeting, public speaking is a skill that is going to take your career and also your personal life to new heights. Hola, my name is Jennie Lopez, and I'm going to be your guide here on how to master communication skills. And these tips that I'm going to be covering today are tailored for our vibrant Latino community. And let's be honest, I have been in your shoes. I have been told not to be bubbly, not to use my hands when I talk, to dress differently, to go slower, less energy, all of that. As a Latina professional myself, I understand the challenges and, let me say this, opportunities that we face when it comes to public speaking. From cultural nuances to all of these language intricacies, I have been there. And that's why I do believe that our experiences when it comes to public speaking are very distinct. And that's why I created these tips for you. In today's video, I'm thrilled to share with you my top 5 tips for public speaking for Latinos that have completely transformed my approach when it comes to public speaking and have helped many others also shine on stage. And when I talk about stage, it's not necessarily a stage. It could be the meeting, it could be your computer, whatever your stage is. Pero mira, before we dive into these life-changing tips, let's make sure that you are fully on board with our journey. Number 1, make sure that you hit subscribe because it will really help out. Number 2, make sure that you have the notifications on because this way you don't miss out of our empowering content. And then number 3, if you like this video, make sure you like it because when you do that, you're helping the mission. And the mission is to continue to empower the Latino community. All right, are you ready to unlock your voice and make sure that every word that you speak counts? So vamos. Let's continue to work on getting stronger and confident and very impactful as speakers out there together. Número 1 is to embrace your amazing cultural identity. And this is what I've seen so many people making the mistake of changing who they are, of assimilating, of fitting the norm. And I say it, I've seen people, you know what, I've been there too. I've been there because sometimes whenever you go into the professional setting and you look around, you may be the only one. You may be the only Latino, Latina, you may be the only female. And whenever you do that, then you say, if I want to be successful, that means that I need to change. I need to adapt. I need to modify my approach. But when you do that, that's a huge mistake because what you're doing is that you're putting so much energy into trying to be somebody who you're not, that you're missing the point. You're putting all that, you should be putting all that energy on giving the best of you, of solving the problem that we are trying to solve, of making the impact that you want to make. So this is why when we have to be very confident of bringing your amazing authentic self, including your cultural identity. You know how many times I received the feedback, oh Jenny, you're too bubbly for an engineer, or you need to dress like an engineer, which I don't know what that means. Jenny, when you go to that meeting, don't let your Latina out. And at that point, I didn't even know how to respond to that. I mean, what does that even mean? Now I know better. But we need to stop that whole cycle of continue to cultivating the same type of avatar because we bring something so special. We bring energy, we bring charisma, we bring this amazing new viewpoint, and it's needed. It is needed. Did you know that we are the fastest growing demographic in the United States, for example? Did you know, like in a couple years, we're going to be a third of the US population? Let's embrace it. We bring so much perspective. So when you're on your stage, and again, remember the stage can be a stage or it can be a meeting, it can be a virtual meeting. Make sure that you're very intentional about, okay, what's the impact? What's the impact I want to have in this presentation or in this meeting or in this setting? And with that, show us your authentic self. And make sure that you bring your skills, your superpowers. That can be things that came along with education or experiences, or it can be from a cultural viewpoint because it's very needed out there. It is gonna be, you're gonna have an impact in conversations, business conversations, talent discussions, conversations, just a different viewpoint because your experience is so unique and it is needed. So make sure that you speak up and you embrace your amazing, amazing cultural identity. Número 2, practica, practica, practica. Practice and prepare. This is very important because us Latinos And this is a beautiful thing in a normal setting. We love storytelling and we go from here and to there and go up and down and roller coaster. And it's a whole journey and it is fun. But sometimes when we're in the professional setting, we need to do a little bit more, we need to be a little bit more concise and make sure that you know exactly ahead of time what's the impact that you're going to be providing, what's the proposal that you want to get approval for, what is the point that you want to make. So prepare. Now, I want to give you a little bit of word of advice. Don't over prepare. I know, Jenny, what are you saying? Prepare, don't over prepare. Okay, this is what I mean. I used to write down, this was when I started in my career. If I was doing a presentation, for example, just write down everything, every single thing I will be doing that I will be saying from the beginning to the end. And then when that happened, I will memorize it. I memorize it. And you know how many times I froze on stage? Sometimes in a literal stage, okay? I kid you not, this was crazy. It will be a presentation and I will go and somebody will say, "But Jenny, I have a question." And for me, those words were like, "Oh," because I knew it was gonna mess with my memory. And it did. Many times I would just freeze right there. Very uncomfortable. Yes, when you can hear a needle drop. It was very uncomfortable. But I learned, and I also joined, for example, a group like the Toastmasters. They were super helpful, but I had also that technique that I don't do anymore of like memorizing the entire thing. And I remember I was in a speech competition. It was a comedy speech competition. I still remember. It was about a story about my abuela and some dessert I was doing. The thing is that I froze on stage. And this time, guys, I'm talking about the stage. Yes. It was very humiliating. So this is why I'm sharing this with you, so you don't do it, so you can learn from my mistakes. So the best technique that I have right now is when you start with a piece of paper and a pen, or on the phone, the computer, whatever is easier for you. But start with this question. What's the outcome? What's the outcome that I want to have? That's the outcome. And make sure you have a captivating beginning, captivating end, and you have very strong points to support that. Not many points. People will forget that. Stick to 3. That's the magic number out there. Strong beginning, your points, and then the end. And then practice, but practice like if you're having a conversation with me, a conversation with your best friend, a conversation with your boss, but practice in a way that is more conversational, and that we do well. Ooh, and before we go to the next one, what about, you probably are thinking, but Jenny, what about if it's just a normal meeting? It's not that I'm gonna come and present something. Okay, then look at the agenda, and if you don't have agenda, ask for it. Because this is where you can also prepare, and make sure that you at least know what they're going to be talking about, or maybe do a little bit of research, because you want to make sure that people are hearing you, not talking for the sake of talking. Nobody likes those people. I don't think so. But you want to make sure that in every meeting you're heard, you're felt, and you're seen. So that way we don't become invisible, because that's what happens most of the times. Número 3 is engage with the audience. And this by nature, we do really well. The eye contact, the gestures, the way you are communicating, make sure you read the audience. But this is something really beautiful. And ahead of time, make sure that you understand the audience that you're talking to, because sometimes we need to modify on how we talk, depending if we're talking to our peers, to the supervisor, or the supervisor. Maybe it's our employees. So make sure that you understand what are their needs so your message can connect to them. This is really important. I've seen so many people that they just say the same thing all the time, and that's whenever you lose them. So make sure you read the audience, you understand what their needs and their wants, and you custom your message in a way that you can engage and connect. Really important. And I'll say it again, please be you. This is when you do your best work. Did you know that I have 2 friends? One of them was one of my guy friends, and he was told one time in his first board meeting, hey, I'm not gonna say the name here, but let's name him Carlos, and say, hey, Carlos, when you go there, make sure you don't use your hands, because you always use your hands when you talk. And he was so uncomfortable. You know what he did? He sat on his hands the whole time because, again, he wanted to make sure that he was successful in his first board meeting. And all his energy was about don't use your hands, don't use your hands, don't use your hands. Do you think he was really engaging at his best 100% in that meeting? No. And I had another person also that they talked about her appearance and how she needed to dress differently. Again, I have heard that many times as well. Even they told her, when you go to that meeting, make sure your hair is straight. What? I mean, these are the things that we hear. So make sure that no, just like this is my natural curl. I'm gonna show us my authentic self. I'm not gonna worry about the superficial things. I'm engaging with the audience. And I did that. I have been there. And I remember when I finally had my big aha moment was whenever I said, Jennie, what are you doing? Because when you are your bubbly self, your energetic self, all the things that you're getting feedback for, that's whenever you connect the best with the audience. People like authenticity. People like to see the real you. However, that real you, because that's whenever you connect at your best, was whenever you can care at your best, that's whenever you can lead at your best. So be authentic and engage in a very authentic way, in a way that is the best for you and the people who you want to help. Número cuatro is to control your tone and your pace. And this one, amigos, is one that I'm still working on because I don't know about you, but I'm from Puerto Rico and over there we talk so fast and I carry that energy and that speed with me when I talk in English as well. So the one is that, yes, let's be authentic, but remember that it's not about you. It's not about me. When I'm talking, when I'm doing public speaking, when I'm in a meeting, it's about the people who I want to help. It's about the audience. It's about the people I want to interact or the people who I want to help by the interaction that we're having as a team. So make sure that you are heard and people are not saying, wait, what did she say? What did he say? So control your speed a little bit. You want to make sure that you're understood and you're heard and you're felt, okay? And sometimes those pauses are the most important. Did you see you were saying, wait, what is she gonna say? What is she gonna say? So make sure that you're also adding the energy, the vibrancy, and the pauses. Y número 5, ahora sí es que vamos. Number 5 is to really overcome the language barrier. And I'm not talking about to have a beautiful English, perfect English, because as you saw in this video, I even embrace my authenticity, which had some mistakes and some missed, but it's okay. That's just me. That's how I show up. And it's not about having a perfect English. It's about articulating and making sure that the value that you're providing in your speech is very, very impactful and beneficial. If English is your second language, of course you want to practice pronunciation, but not to the point that you are so focused on being perfect that you're forgetting about the outcome that you want to have of your speech and the meeting that you are having. I remember in many meetings being super quiet because I was on my mind trying to translate and making sure that it was perfect what I was gonna say and I was using the right lingo and and two things happened. One of them, the conversation already moved to something else, so it didn't even make sense for me to bring it up. And number two, it was somebody else will say it before me. And I'm thinking, I was just gonna say that. So for me, it's not about perfection, it's about the impact that you wanna have. So focus on that. And one last tip, make sure it's authentic to you. I remember seeing people talking about this corporate lingo and words, very fancy words that I didn't even know what they meant. And I tried to talk like that and I sounded really funny because it's not even authentic to me. So make sure it's okay. You have an accent, embrace it. That's your superpower because that means that you come now with not only two different languages, but two different experiences, two different viewpoints, two different perspectives. Make sure you own it. Having an accent, again, is your biggest flex. It's not about perfection. It's about impact and intention. So use simplicity. Use words that are clear, that are very comfortable with you. And again, when you do that, you're also going to be engaging in a better way, in a more authentic way with people. And it's about impact. Now I want to ask you, what is your biggest fear when it comes to public speaking? Because I would love to help. So make sure you drop in the comments your notes, your questions, anything that you would like for me to cover in an upcoming video. Make sure you're subscribed and let me know. Did you find this helpful? If If you did, make sure you share with others because remember, más fuerte juntos, juntos más fuertes. We're stronger together. I'll see you in the next video. Adios.